You want to be hardcore, you want to be extreme. Well, if you're like the Sandman, then you're listening to the podcast Drunk Wrestling History, dudes. And please be drunk when you hear it.
We've got Bush.
I like to fuck. Do you like to fuck?
It's just money shots, chairs all over Barrett.
Those guys with bang busts think they're a big deal. My dick is small. Boy,
Shabbat Shalom, Shlemiels and Shlemazels. Welcome to our Friday service of Drunk Wrestling History. I'm your designated host, Adam, and they are the Drunk Wrestling Putzes.
That's actually kind of I think you should just stick with that for like the episodes after this. That's actually more accurate.
It's very fitting.
This is Eddie. I'm drunk. I'm old. I'm fucking tired, and I work with fucking children.
And oy vey, this is Scott, the man of 1,004 drinks.
Oh, oy vey, oh my, that's right. I'll think about it with that one, but what's more accurate, Putz or historian?
Putz.
Oh,
I
definitely Putz.
Well, definitely Putz, but
It's derogatory, right? Then yes, Putz.
Putz historian.
Exactly.
Well,
are you still tapping on that desk?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I don't know what I'm hearing then. So maybe that's not what it was in the first place.
I'll sit on it and we'll think about it. I have your contact information.
You have our
There
information.
you go.
Yes. All right. But to the rest of you, this is our weekly Friday service, and we thank you all for joining us together to share the word of drunk wrestling history. And first off, you need to look the part. We should get some drunk wrestling history yarmulkes.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
That'd be hilarious. So I have
Great idea now.
I mean, I have been to a store, I think, when I was visiting some relatives a while ago, and I think it was in Skokie. There was some Jewish store where they had, Scott would have liked this, some New York Yankees yarmulkes, or I think,
good shit.
like just whatever the trendy shows were, they had those designs for the kids, and then all the other traditional stuff for all the adults and all that stuff. But I should look into it.
I'm surprised Gene Simmons wasn't trying to sell Kiss yarmulkes.
They exist somewhere.
I know they do for sure.
They have to.
Somewhere on Etsy. Somebody's got to. But get some drunk wrestling history t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, and onesies, especially for the miniature drunk marks and drunk marquettes that you have. Drunk wrestling logo loud and proud on the chest. You could look like a true drunk wrestling putz. Going to whatamaneuver.net and buy a fucking shirt.
Buy a fucking shirt.
And what do we have to drink?
Well, in the spirit of today's special episode, I've got a nice glass of Manischewitz,
Very nice, dude.
Yes.
which I'm drinking out of like a 8-ounce beer taster glass because I didn't want to use a full high. It's just like a short version of a wine glass, and I was like, I know I'm going to knock a wine glass over because I kind of rearranged things, and the drink is way off to my left now, and I was like, I'm going to reach over there and I'm going to hit a wine glass and spill it, and it's fucking red, and we actually got a new rug. It's going to get on the rug. It's going to get on the guinea pig. So I put it in the little short beer glass.
God forbid you get on AJ and stain your dog.
Oh, also, I'm ripping off your gimmick, Adam, and I'm eating during this. I'm also eating Manischewitz chocolate macaroons.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either. I just happened to see them.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
And Adam, in a sad story, this is my last can of Los Guerreros.
Oh, no.
Now, for the record, these were not shared. I drank every single one of them. This is just the last can. So, to you, Adam, for this amazing batch of Los Guerreros, I say cheers and thank you.
L'chaim.
We'll have to see if we can find some WrestleMania weekend.
Right. It's good shit, pal.
I was checking the Alosa Brewing Company website. They said that they were sold out. But then again, I haven't called them. Maybe they do have some. So, well, We'll see if there's a detour in that direction.
Time to put an APB out.
Yeah, Chavo, we're heading down. We need some. Hook us up.
We do.
All right.
We do. It's good stuff.
I wasn't able to get Manischewitz, but I did get from the right section. Gave them grape juice.
I knew you were gonna be drinking grape juice.
Yep. and for a snack, Manischewitz matzahs.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
You guys did it up, man. Holy shit.
Yep.
Do you have gefilte fish?
Hell no, I ain't doing that. There were plenty on the shelves, but I was like,
I've never had it, but it looks disgusting.
And I feel awful. I have a room full of toys and not one dreidel. I'm not even bringing anything to this episode.
Yeah, you brought Los Guerreros beer.
Yeah, I bring Los Guerreros beer.
But then again, by its definition, I think at least most beer is kosher. So I think in that category, you're covered.
Perfect. I'm set.
Except for that oyster beer.
Oh, probably not that. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, the oyster stout.
Yeah. Yeah. Eddie, take it away.
Well, I got a macaroon in my mouth, so your timing is stellar. Of
course.
But I'm going to do this anyway. I just want to say hi to our international listeners like I do regularly. We have hello to our listeners in the UK, Italy, Canada, Australia, Ireland, Germany, Denmark, Singapore, New Zealand, Sweden, Mexico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, which I guess is not technically a foreign country, Portugal, Belgium, Netherlands, Poland, South Africa. Hey, that one dude in India is not here.
Oh,
no.
He finally got sick of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope he's okay.
Shit. All right,
I
no more
didn't even-
APB on Los Guerreros beer. We're putting out an APB on that one dude from India.
Yeah, I hadn't even looked at it until today, and I just got to the bottom of
individual's
the list. I
health
was
and
like,
safety
wait.
is more important.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that
So-
sucks.
Yeah, well, yeah, we hope you're okay.
I mean,
or
hey.
maybe he moved. Maybe he moved to a different country.
Possible,
Yeah.
but more likely that we knew the stupidity was going to catch up with us at some point and we'd start losing listeners and countries. It was bound to happen, dude. It was bound to happen.
How many dick jokes can you listen to?
Right. He was finally like, these fucking idiots.
But these fucking idiots love that guy.
They're always yelling at me to buy a shirt. Fuck them.
Yeah. And that's all I've got.
All right. For this week's episode, why is this podcast different than all other podcasts? Because this week we are covering wrestlers you didn't know were Jewish.
I feel this is like the Adam Sandler Hanukkah song.
Kinda.
Yeah, he
We're
tells
not
you all
just-
the people that are Jewish, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize that one.
I mean, the way this list episode is working out, it does turn out to be a who's who, practically.
Oh, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of big shots, and I tried to stay away from that on my list somewhat. There's one that maybe one of you guys have, but I tried to actually go with some that maybe you wouldn't think of. You know, like I'll just I didn't put Goldberg. You know,
Oh, okay.
like I didn't think there was any need for me to do that. But if you guys have him, that's fine. That's just
I
the
do
way I
not.
did it.
Same reason. I was
Okay.
like, yeah, of course he's going to be on somebody's list.
Yeah, Adam.
He is on my list, but then again, I mean, but it's just
It was gonna be.
it's just
it
a
was gonna
matter
be
of
fun to not talk about Goldberg.
Yeah, let's just get him out of the way. Go ahead, Adam.
I would like to figure that he's been covered enough. Like, you already
Yeah.
expressed your opinions about him, and also just in general for all these, it's not like all these wrestlers have presented that, hey, I have a Jewish gimmick, or like rubbed it in our faces or so. They just happen to be Jewish, and they're busting their ass in the ring and whatnot. So
Yeah. Well, that was part of the name. It was like I stole the name wrestlers you didn't know were Jewish from Pitch Perfect when they did that one music scene. But that was kind of the idea. Like, let's find out about some people you didn't know that about. So, well, why don't you get started with Goldberg? Like Scott said, get him right out of the way.
Really quick, how did we come about this episode? I want to say within a week after the release of the Gimmick Battle Royal episode, Eddie texted me going, how the hell did you know or about Chaim Witz?
Yeah.
And my response
yeah,
is
that was impressive.
like
Yeah, which is, for people who don't know, that's Gene Simmons' real name.
Right.
yeah, and so make sure that you listen to the end of that episode. So apparently, I was getting tongue tied while drinking some Kiss Cola. They made a Kiss comment, and I naturally said Chaim Witz, and he's like, "How the hell did you know that?" I'm like, "It's kind of main stage celebrity 101, born in Israel. You got Natalie Portman, you got Gal Gadot, and you have Chaim Witz, aka Gene Simmons."
I thought you got it from Family Guy.
No, but that would actually be a really good. That would be a really good guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm impressed, Adam. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
yeah. Just one of us. Gotta make sure they're taken care of. But yeah, go.
Showing respect to members of the tribe.
Yeah, but Goldberg. I mean, you've established your opinions about him, and
I wonder what Bret Hart thinks about him.
He cost him $12 million.
Yeah.
I just saw him on Twitter yesterday bitching about it.
He was just on a podcast this morning complaining about him again. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
that for a fact. I'm just guessing. But it's probably accurate.
But I want to say when he was playing with the Atlanta Falcons, I think he did have some hair. I would have loved to see those curls on the side of him as well.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah. All right. Let's go with. Oh wait. I mean, I just have my list, or do we want to just go around the table?
Let's bounce around the table.
Let's go around the room.
All right, you want me to go next?
Sure.
Sure.
I'm not sure if listeners know this or not, but MJF. Just kidding. Just kidding. My first one, Medusa Michelli or Alundra Blaze.
Yeah, I did not know that until I was looking it up. Especially, you would never guess that from her last name.
Did not
No.
know either.
You know,
Yeah.
it's an
Shocked.
Italian last name.
Shocked,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I had no idea that she was Jewish. I was like, oh, wow, okay, this is awesome. Like, I'm actually learning something here.
Right.
Just to kind of go through her credentials, WWE Hall of Famer, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling IWA Champion 2 times. AWA Women's Champion. She was a WCW Cruiserweight Champion.
First woman to grab that title.
That's
I believe.
correct.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yep. WWF Women's Champion 3 times. And a WWF 24/7 Champion.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Oh,
little known
that's
fact,
right.
she is a champion monster truck competitor.
Uh-huh. She is. I think a dude I know goes to Monster Trucks. His kids are into it. I think he said they did a show at Levi Stadium, and I think he said she was there.
Yeah, she's got her own truck and everything, dude. She's a total
Monster Jam.
badass.
Yeah, totally. I mean, imagine like you get out of wrestling and you go into that. Like who would ever even
Yeah,
think?
just fucking racing around. Inspired by Hogan and the Big Show, obviously.
Yeah, it was the greatest match I've ever seen. I'd like to try that.
Inspired to do it better.
These guys suck at this. I can do it way better. But yeah, Medusa Michelli, there you go. I had no idea.
I could drive a monster truck without throwing somebody off a building.
And she's one of those people who famously like came back to the company after being gone on bad terms for years.
Yeah, 20-year ban because she dropped the women's title in a garbage can.
Right, and then it was finally, okay, we're going to bring her back. We're going to put her in the Hall of Fame. And now she's like a semi-regular. You see her pop up around WrestleMania. I think she's
Exactly.
been at Access.
Yep.
She was just on the 30th anniversary show
Yes.
a few weeks ago. So, yeah, she's like back in the company in good standing after, like you said, a 20-year ban.
Wouldn't surprise me at all to see her at WrestleMania this weekend in some capacity.
Yeah, even just like sitting in the crowd or doing like a little backstage skit with the chicks or something.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I'll do my first one, and this is the one I thought maybe one of you guys would have. Randy and Landy Poffo.
Not on my list.
Okay, their mom was Jewish. I don't remember if I mentioned that on the Landy episode we just did.
I don't think you did.
Okay, I didn't think so. I didn't remember mentioning it. I'll be quick with this one because we already did an entire Landy Poffo episode, and we'll probably do a Randy Macho Man episode at some point. But
I don't know.
we
I
talked
think
about
we've
Macho Man.
properly filleted Randy Savage across all of our Drunk Wrestling History episodes.
Yeah, that's probably true. He's probably made it onto some kind of list, but we've definitely covered him in pay-per-views.
Oh, yeah,
So,
for sure. I mean, Mr.
Yeah, maybe-
WrestleMania before Shawn Michaels was Mr. WrestleMania.
That's true, exactly. He was the original. Yeah, well, Lance Storm had a theory that he got put in that mixed tag at 6 to keep him from stealing the show.
That dude, how can you even argue with that?
Right, because he was doing it every year. He was stealing the show every year. Every year. Because what, was he at 2? Who did he wrestle at 2?
At 2, he wrestled George the Animal Steel.
George the Animal, right. And they actually had probably the best match George the Animal ever had.
Yeah, as good as he could get, yeah.
And then obviously 3, which people still talk about as the best match of all time.
I still talk about that as the best match of all time.
And then 4 matches at 4, and then the match with DiBiase was definitely the match of the night.
Oh, dude, it created one of the most iconic images in wrestling history.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And then 5, he was a main event with Hogan, and that was probably Hogan's best match up to that point.
Oh, for sure. Easily.
Best non-Japan match anyway, because he had some fucking badass matches in Japan.
Yeah,
but
up to this point, that was Hogan's best match.
Yeah, so then at 6, they stick him in a mixed tag with Sapphire.
Right.
And they really handcuffed him.
Because, if it had been him and Dusty, that's match of the night.
Oh, there's no way they wouldn't have had a better match than Hogan and Warrior. And Hogan and Warrior was actually pretty good for considering that Warrior was in there and they had to go 20 minutes.
Exactly. And Warrior was blown up by the time he hit the ring.
Right. But you're exactly right. They would have had he and Dusty alone would have had a killer match.
Oh, it would have been amazing, dude.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was the original. And then he had the match with Flair at 8.
He faced Warrior in Warrior's best match at WrestleMania 7.
7, yeah. So, every year. So he was exactly the original Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then at 9, he didn't have a match. He was commentator. 10, he wrestled Crush, and that was game over for Savage in WWE.
Yeah.
For WrestleMania anyway, but across 9 WrestleManias,
right.
If he has that one-on-one with Dusty, I don't think there's any way he's not cemented as Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And then Lanny Poffo, like you said, we just did an entire episode on him, so...
Yeah, so I'm not really going to go into him much, but other than just to mention that a lot of people didn't know that about them. And you would also think Poffo sounds Italian to me too, but I don't know what the fuck kind of name Poffo is.
That's what I always thought they were. I always thought Italian.
Because it ends with an O? I don't know. But Lanny had 13 championships over his career. Macho Man had 21.
Damn.
And that's all I got to say about them.
Next up, what about Raven?
Ah, good one.
I almost had him.
I did too. I almost put him on my list. I was like, you know what? Either Eddie or Adam's going to have him.
And to everybody else who probably didn't know that about him, by looking at him, you wouldn't think it.
Scott Levy.
Yeah, just...
Well, I didn't really want to cross that line, Adam, of talking about how people look and whether they look Jewish or not, but you feel free.
Okay, I didn't mean it that way.
Don't put him on the defensive, dude. You stop it. Knock it off. He's just being a shit, Adam.
It's like at Spaceballs. Funny, she doesn't look Jewish.
But, all right, so, what was it? Many characters on WCW before his leather jackets, grungy look, I guess. I think back in school, he was straight A student. You would have figured that wrestling would have never been on his radar, but
nerds.
Mazel to him. I mean, he knows the science of how to get into the business and pursue it. I did not mark any of his other gimmicks per se, but
Scotty Flamingo, Johnny Polo.
There we go.
I loved Johnny Polo. I thought Johnny Polo was so great.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite thing that he ever did as any of his characters was one time during an Atom Bomb match, he came out there with a chair and read a newspaper during the match. That was on Raw in 94 or something like that. And I'm like, what is this jerk doing? He's sitting here reading a newspaper during the match. He's not paying attention to the guy's match.
Like he's in Jackass walking into a hardware store taking a shit in a toilet. No, and what range too, right? You can go from this preppy guy like Scotty Flamingo in WCW or Johnny Polo in the WWE and completely flip the script on it. And he was having great matches with people too as Raven. Completely opposite type of character, but then having these killer
great
matches.
And effective.
Yes, very much so.
And it was a great gimmick, and he did those backstage things, those weird ECW style backstage, he's just talking to the camera, creepy things, it really was a great gimmick.
And in terms of reinvention, that might be the greatest reinvention of all time.
Well, now there's an episode, but that's definitely in the conversation for sure. Yeah, I mean that was a completely different character from anything he'd done before.
100%, a complete 180, and bettered his career for it too. So kudos to Raven.
Yeah. Oh, I've already got a couple of mine. We're doing that episode.
Okay, I like it. See how that happens on the fly, people. This was not planned.
No.
Improv, baby.
All right.
Oh, okay. You're next. Yeah.
Next on my list, Lisa Marie Varon or Victoria.
Yes.
That was another one I didn't know, and she tweeted. There was a tweet where someone said something rude, and she responded with, "But I'm Jewish." Like someone said, maybe accused her of having said something. I don't know.
Awful.
That's all I know. But yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't either. TNA Knockouts champion 5 times.
As Tara.
Yeah, exactly. As Tara, thank you, Adam. TNA Knockouts tag champion and a 2-time WWE women's champion.
Yeah, and I loved Victoria. I loved her in WWE. She was right away. She came in, and you could tell, like she was a badass. She was a different kind of because this is before the Divas. This is when it was like Trish and Lita and Jazz was there, but she came in. She was muscular,
kind of along the same mold as Chyna,
kind of, but not like that. But
closer
very
to
feminine,
Chyna
too.
and less like Trish Stratus, right? Like if you had to compare body types or images.
I mean, yeah, closer to Chyna, but not close to Chyna. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not.
But she looked like she could kick your ass, and she got in the ring and she wrestled like Triple H. Like she was like a power wrestler. Like she'd get in there and slam people. You know what I mean? She wasn't doing whatever. She wasn't doing leg scissors and shit like that. Like she was like a power wrestler.
Right.
Which was a great, I don't know who she worked with, I guess Finley. Whatever advice she was given on how to work was perfect for her look and her size.
He's like, you see what Jazz is doing? You're bigger. Do that.
That
exactly
hella makes
right.
sense. Like when Lita and Trish were breaking out and trying to be those wrestlers instead of divas, they would do a lot of leg scissors and the hurricanranas and try to find your offensive in the air. So, but yeah, Victoria is a strength and grounded one. And also, I want to probably reiterate whenever the episode was. I think it was when we were making last year's Hall of Fame picks. Widow's Peak was probably the most effective finishing move at the time.
It was great.
That was a great move. Yep. Awesome move. Yeah. She was great. And then you mentioned she went to TNA. That was actually the best part of her career. This is when I was still watching TNA. Like I wasn't watching every week. Later on, and then I completely just lost interest in TNA. But, her stuff that I saw, she was doing some of her best work because they've always had a really good women's division. I can't believe they still call them fucking knockouts, but they've always had that's one thing about TNA is their women's division has always been really good. Maybe the booking's not the best at times, but the talent has always been there.
And it makes you sad because she went over there. I mean, she didn't have like a super long run in the WWE, but TNA picked her up after WWE essentially told her, we don't have anything for you. So kudos to her. She got her release. She went over to TNA, and she had a way better career, at least on paper. Probably didn't make as much money, but in terms of career satisfaction, I would say probably way more satisfied.
Quality
with her
of matches,
side. Yes.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
And to Eddie's point, quality of the roster of matches she could have.
Right, especially because that was around the time they're like, hey, let's get Kelly and... whoever the fuck else, like the people who the women who wouldn't even wrestle hardly. They'd have a match like every 3 months and they'd mostly just change backstage.
As opposed to going there, you could go to toe with the beautiful people, Angelina Love, Madison Rayne, ODB. Like
instead of whoever John Laurinaitis was trying to fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Mickey James. Right. You get competition over there. And
it's disappointing, too, because they just announced Stacy Keibler for the Hall of Fame, WWE, and that's great. Good for her. Not that she's not deserving, but then you look at somebody like Victoria.
She's due.
And you're like, why is this one getting in before this one? Whatever.
Totally.
Yeah, do your thing. Whatever.
Yeah.
But the wrestling fans are the ones that were really like, she should be in before anybody else goes in.
Yeah, she's overdue. She should have been in the first year she was retired.
Yes, 100% agree. So there you go, Victoria. Highly underrated, I might add.
Totally. Okay, my next one is the Malenko family.
There you go.
Yep.
I don't know who knows this, so their last name is not Malenko. Dean Malenko was obviously son of Boris Malenko. So that's where I got the name from. But his last name was actually Simon. He also had a brother, Joe. Dean was the most famous of them. He actually had a really good run in ECW. The ECW run was short, like most of those guys were. His WCW run was really pretty long. He was there a long time, and he was only in WWE for like 2 years. He came in as part of the Radicals. His career there was actually sort of forgettable.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you a guy he feuded with.
I can tell you a girl he feuded with.
Who?
Lita.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, him and Perry Saturn, their Radicals break off. Not memorable at all. Obviously, and Eddie Guerrero were like the two that...
Those were the two guys.
Those were the stars. That's why they signed all four, was to get those two.
Right, exactly, yeah. And I mean, Malenko was a great worker.
Oh, 100%, dude. His matches in WCW especially were just amazing.
You don't get the nickname Man of 1,000 Holds for just being a pretty face.
Exactly.
Right. He was like a Daniel Bryan style wrestler. Like, if for anyone who's never seen one of his matches, think Daniel Bryan. He worked like him. He ended up between the three companies, he won 11 championships. He was a member of the Four Horsemen for a minute.
Yep, that's right.
And he retired in WWE in 2001. It was an agent until 2019, and now he's an agent over at AEW. So his career, I want to say, started around, I didn't write it down, 86, 85, 86. So he only had like a 15, 16-year run as a wrestler. He's been an agent for longer than that at this point. So that's really what he's going to end up being. I imagine I don't know. If he ever goes in the Hall of Fame, I have a feeling a lot of emphasis is going to be put on that. How he helped the younger wrestlers as an agent. Okay. Because he contributed more in that way, I think, than he did as a wrestler. Joe didn't have that great of a career. He doesn't really have a lot of highlights other than he was just Joe in WWE for a minute. And he is now a pharmacist. But of the three, I think, of the three, I think Boris was the most interesting. He was born in Newark. There's a fly in here. He was born in Newark, New Jersey. He started in 1955 wrestling on the East Coast. In 57, he ended up going to Dallas for a bit. He worked with Fritz von Erich there, which might have, I don't know, maybe he got the idea for his new gimmick when he got to AWA. He went there in 61, and he changed his name to Otto von Krupp. And he wore jack boots, like Nazi jack boots, and he had a swastika on his back.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so he's doing, as a Jewish wrestler, he's doing a Nazi gimmick.
Ouch.
Yeah, which is crazy, you know? Oh, God, the doorbell rang and now the dogs are going crazy.
Did you do a Bevmo liquor thing?
No, I think Carissa ordered something from Safeway.
She can't hear it because she has her AirPods on.
Right, yeah, you guys can hear it, I'm sure.
Is she out?
Hang on, you know what?
Go ahead.
1 second.
Go ahead.
I'll cut this out. This isn't going to be fun. Or, I don't know, maybe you guys will be entertaining. Hang on.
This is awesome, dude. If this happened to one of us, I guarantee, like, when we had to go, he'd be the one talking shit. He tried to end an episode one time when I had to go turn over enchiladas or something in the oven.
Yeah, he egged me on. It was... Now I'm stabbing him in the back, but
now I'm fully invested into like what had to interrupt the show. Like, he better not say it was just an Amazon. I have to know what's inside the Amazon box.
What's in the box? What's in the box? Oh, God. Oh, God. What's in the box?
All right, what's in the box, dude?
It was an Amazon package. I don't know what it was.
No, that's not an acceptable answer. We were just talking about this. In order for it to interrupt the show, I have to know what it is.
All right, it's probably going to be something boring, but I'll go get it.
Yeah, go get it. Open it.
Since when is lube boring?
Right, Adam, I actually have my money on a butt plug.
Okay, let's see.
My money's on some sort of anal device.
I want to say something for a pet.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
All right, hang on.
But will drunkenly be inserted into the anus.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Hopefully not of the pet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's exactly as boring as I thought it was going to be. It's a hook for Carissa to hang her headphones on the wall.
Oh, you definitely...
Adam, I think I was closest.
Scott's closer, yeah.
What did you guess?
Butt plug for you.
How is that close? Well, what did Adam guess? That was closer.
Because I guessed something for the pet, and yeah.
So if something had to be inserted into your anus, it would probably be a 3M hook.
Unless Sasha is barking, "Hey, I like BDSM," then I'd be way off. But
I would have preferred the butt plug if that's what we got to do with it. This hook would not. This would not be good. And it seems like
ass out of me.
And it seems like it could get stuck.
All right. Well, hey, you interrupted the show, dude.
Okay, so back to Boris Malenko. So he was Otto von Krupp, and he was doing a Nazi gimmick, which that's why I thought maybe that came from working with Fritz. Because do you know that was Fritz's gimmick?
You know what? I think I've heard that, yes.
Yeah, not necessarily a Nazi, but he was like German, and it was very much like, I'm going to be the German heel.
Right.
Like 15 years after World War II, you know, when a lot of guys who fought in Europe were coming to the shows.
Right. Hey, he knows his fan base, brother.
He does, yeah. I mean, it's ballsy. He teamed with Bob Geigel during this time, which I would have loved to have heard that conversation go down. Like, Bob, listen, I'm thinking we do a Nazi gimmick.
I'm listening.
So the Malenko name came up when he went to South Florida and he was suddenly a Soviet. So he became Boris Malenko, which is, Malenko's a Russian last name. It actually means, I think Malenko actually means little. And he went by the Great Malenko also. He got over huge in Florida because the Cubans hated him because he was a communist.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
There you go.
Because Cubans hate communists more than anybody.
Okay.
He ended up mostly working Florida, Dallas, Knoxville, and a little bit in Japan. And one of the last angles he did, which I thought was really interesting, he became Jerry Blackwell's manager because he had acquired the mortgage to Jerry Blackwell's farm. So he's like, well, you have to fight for me because I own the mortgage on your farm. Ronnie Garvin ended up paying the mortgage off, and then Jerry Blackwell attacked him. And what I thought was funny about that is HBK and JBL did almost the same angle about 30 years later.
Oh, God, I didn't even remember
the
that.
employment one, yeah.
So I wonder if someone was aware of that. You know what I mean? Vince wouldn't have been aware of that. That was going on in Florida, you know, while he was up there doing commentary for his dad and promoting shows in Bangor.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wonder if I don't know if anyone had been in Florida at the time, or maybe it was Dusty's idea. You know, I don't know.
Oh, that could be. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been. But yeah, I mean, or maybe it's just a coincidence, but it was a very similar angle.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think there's many coincidences wrestling, right? Like, not a lot.
Really.
A lot of shit's already been done. A lot of it is rehash, right? Like, how many times are they going to try to recreate the magic that was the NWO?
Right.
You know, a lot of it. There's very little coincidence, dude.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. And that's it for them.
All right. Let's talk about Albert, the A-Train, Lord Tensai, or current NXT or Performance Center trainer, and I guess NXT trainer, Matt Bloom.
He was next on my list.
I was surprised to find out he wasn't Japanese.
That'll be the next episode. Wrestlers didn't know we were Japanese.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I forget football player somewhere, but I guess TNA or T&A with Test and Trish Stratus. He was the Hip Hop Hippo with Scotty 2 Hotty. After breaking off with him, he became the A-Train. A lot later, he came back for 5 minutes as Lord Tensai,
which was awful,
horrible,
worse than A-Train.
At least A-Train got a match with the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Was it?
Yeah, he
was
also.
It
Did
memorable?
you say he was
right?
Did you say he was Prince Albert?
Yes. Oh,
okay,
probably earlier,
joke.
but yeah, Prince Albert.
It's a dick reference.
Yeah, named after a fucking dick piercing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vince found that out and was like, "Oh, we need a guy with Prince Albert's name." It's good shit, pal. It's named after his dick.
Yeah.
So
I thought he was just in a can.
So yeah, I don't know if as memorable a career in WWE or in his 10 years in Japan, but at least being very, very effective doing the silent work, and shouldn't be the thankless work because he's putting out superstar after superstar on NXT. Just definitely want to give him just want to give him a shout out and hopefully a future Hall of Fame induction for his continued work.
Yeah, if anything, just for being the head
workhorse.
trainer at NXT now. Because he took over for that piece of shit Bill DeMott, and has just done an outstanding job.
Right. Yeah, totally. I think he probably will, to be like one of those. He'll go on second of the night.
Yeah.
And he'll be like the third one they announce for it or something like that. Although it seems like the classes are getting smaller because we're up to 4 in
Only
WrestleMania.
4, and it's this week, yeah.
Today, it's Friday. Today's Monday. It's on Friday. So they might be going, with it being after SmackDown, I think they're cutting it, which is good because I've been saying for years they're putting too many people in because they're going to run out of people who are worth putting in if they do eight at a time.
Yes.
So that's good. But yeah, I think he's deserving for that kind of, for the backstage stuff, which I think a lot of people are in that same category, which that could actually be a fun episode. Like who's Hall of Fame worthy, not for their in-ring career.
Well, and that's funny. You guys just had back-to-back names that could go in just for the work they've done with, you said, Eddie, like with the kids or with the younger generation.
Right. Yeah.
And Adam, to your point, I had some notes on A-Train because he was the next one on my list. Luckily, I made a fourth. WWF IC champion. Pro Wrestling Noah GHC Tag Team Champion with Carl Anderson. And a 2-time IWGP Tag Team Champion, once with Tomko and once again with Carl Anderson.
Those are not bad partners to be with.
Albert and Tomko, that's some charisma right there. Those two guys.
It's like a charisma vacuum.
Yeah, I'm sure their promos are what got them over.
Right, especially Tomko.
Yeah.
All right, I will get the fourth one on my list here. This guy's going to get over on the merit of banging Tori Wilson, Billy Kidman.
That was the highlight of his career.
Pretty much. That's the number one achievement on my list here for him.
Yeah, he's more known for that, right, than for anything he actually did in the ring.
There's no doubt.
I mean, he did that Shooting Star, which was awesome, but like how many Billy Kidman matches does anybody remember?
Oh, dude. You used to reverse power bombs into like a face buster. But dude, you totally banged Tori Wilson.
Right. Everyone knows that geek and the wife beater was banging Tori Wilson.
Exactly that. Like, you mentioned to somebody, Billy Kidman. That guy used to bang Tori Wilson. Like that. Yeah. That's what. Hey, but you know what though? He fucking banged Tori Wilson. So good for him. WWE Cruiserweight Champion a total of 4 times. Tag Team Champion with Paul London in the WWE. WCW Cruiserweight Champion 3 times. WCW Cruiserweight Tag Team Champion, which I don't even remember them having Cruiserweight Tag Team belts, but he held those with Rey Mysterio, and he was a 2-time WCW World Tag Team Champion, once with Mysterio and once with Conan.
And that run with what the hell's his name? London. That was really good, actually. Once you said that, I was like, oh, yeah, that's actually the thing I remember the most about him as far as his work. Because those dudes were good together. And I always thought Paul London had so much potential.
I agree. Dude. They were great together.
Yeah, he got fired because what did he laugh at? He laughed at when Vince died, right? Was it the Vince funeral or something? He was laughing.
Apparently
when Vince's car
smiled
exploded?
during Vince's walkout during that Vince Appreciation Night. He was walking out.
Yeah.
Everyone was supposed to be stagnant or not pleased. He was smiling.
Stagnant.
Or whatever. Neutral.
That's great.
Neutral.
Stoic, I think is what you meant.
There we go.
I think you might be thinking of Kendrick and London.
No, I know, but I'm just saying Paul London.
Oh, yes, Paul London. Oh, yes,
I'm just saying in general.
Paul London.
I'm just saying
and
in
then
general,
there was
Paul
also
London.
suspended for X amount of time for overselling a clothesline during that Royal Rumble that we covered.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
That's right.
Now we're turning it into Paul London.
Yeah, now we're talking about Paul London.
Yeah, is he Jewish? Does he look Jewish, Adam?
We didn't bang Tori Wilson, so he didn't make my list.
All right, I'll get to my last one. So my last one is actually 2 that are unrelated other than... I couldn't pick between the 2. I thought they both should be in here. And they're not related in any way other than neither of them were actually wrestlers. They were just involved with wrestling. So the first one is Ernie Roth. Adam, I know you don't know who Ernie Roth
No.
is. Scott, do you know who Ernie Roth is?
I don't.
Ernie Roth is the Grand Wizard.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, that's his real name. Ernie Roth is his real name. He started in the 60s. He was a DJ that Jim Barnett discovered, and he thought he would make a good heel manager, which is quite a backhanded compliment when you think about it.
Fucking nailed it.
Yeah, you're very unlikable. I think people would pay to see you fucking get your ass kicked. His first gimmicks were Mr. Clean, which I don't know if it was because of his bald head.
Interesting.
Or what. And then he was J. Wellington Radcliffe. He worked in Detroit. And he started wearing the turban when he managed the Sheik. He went by Abdullah Farouk. And he was his manager for a few years. And he became the Grand Wizard in 1970 when he went to the WWF. And I assume most people know, but the Grand Wizard was like the leader of the Ku Klux Klan. And Ernie Roth was like, it was like a fuck you to the Klan by Ernie Roth. Like, no, fuck you, I'm the Grand Wizard.
Look at how I'm dressed.
Yeah, right. And he was like, he was Jewish and gay, so it was like a double whammy for him. Like the Klan would have hated him. So he's like, no, I'm stealing your fucking gimmick, brother.
Yep.
He managed Fuji and Toru Tanaka to 2 tag team championships. He managed Stasiak to a world championship over Pedro Morales in 73. And he was Billy Graham's manager in 77 when he beat Bruno for the world title.
Shit, the manager of champions before Captain Lou.
And he also managed Pat Patterson when he won the IC title. So in the 70s in the WWE, he was the fucking man. I mean, imagine, like, Bruno lost 2 fucking matches. It's basically from 63 till he retired. And both of them were guys managed by Ernie Roth.
Damn, that's impressive.
Yeah, drunk fact, he also lost to Ray Stevens in San Francisco, but it was unrecognized.
Okay.
Yeah. I think in 60, I forget the year. But
Bruno
late
did.
60s, I think.
Really?
Bruno lost to Ray Stevens in the Cow Palace. Yeah.
So was that one of those doing a favor things like Hogan did for one of the Rougeaus?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And it somehow they somehow reversed the decision, so Stevens didn't become world champ.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, he was he lost to Stevens in the Cow Palace.
Wow.
He also managed just to name a few, Kowalski, Crazy Luke Graham, Sergeant Slaughter, Ernie Ladd, and Bob Orton. So I mean, he had quite a stable.
Yes,
he was
he did.
no joke. And he was part of the Unholy Trinity with Blassie and Albano. That's what they used to call it. It was the 3 heel managers of the territory at the time.
Got it.
And he was in the he died young. He died when he was like 59 or something like that, really young. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in the inaugural class in 1995. So he was like, boom, right? We're putting him in right away. Like, this guy contributed so much. He was also the first manager in WWE who didn't start as a wrestler. They hadn't had a huge amount of, because, like the 70s was still kind of early in the manager days.
True.
Because back in the day, like before TV really blew up, you guys wouldn't have managers. So they hadn't had a lot of managers, but he was the first one who hadn't previously been a wrestler.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. So my other one, who I just could not leave off of this, and it's anyone who listens to the show knows we're huge fans of this guy here. I was surprised to find out that this person has a Wikipedia page, and I assume he made it himself. The great Joel Gertner.
Oh, dude, I almost put him on here.
Yeah, he didn't really have much of a career, so I only have a couple things on him. He started doing shows in '92 when he was 17 years old. He called himself Joey Jaguar, which was a great name, but it wouldn't have worked for the Joel Gertner gimmick later on.
Right.
It's just too cool of a name.
Yes.
He was going to Cornell when he started working in wrestling, and he dropped out a year before getting a bachelor's because his bookings were getting in the way. He couldn't hold the schedule. He couldn't go to school and do his bookings at these indie shows.
Okay.
He took the Eliminator's finisher at Barely Legal in 1997, and he's been wearing a neck brace ever since. So, I mean, that injury is worse than Bob Orton's even worse.
and Iron Mike Sharps.
And Iron Mike Sharps, yeah.
Who I believe was buried with that arm brace.
I think you're right. Right?
Still hasn't healed.
Yeah, right. He's like what's his name? El Santo getting buried in the mask.
Right, exactly.
Or Bela Lugosi getting buried in his Dracula gimmick. The Dudleys won 8 tag team titles with him, and basically once WCW folded, he's just been doing indies. He was in TNA for a minute. But yeah, I don't have a huge amount to say about him, so what I'd like to do is let him speak for himself.
I don't hear anything, dude.
Oh, you don't hear anything?
No.
Nope.
How is that possible?
You didn't test something before we started recording?
No. Wait, could you hear the jackass sound earlier?
I heard the Office theme.
I heard the Office theme.
That was Carissa's phone ringing. Well, shit.
No,
Why
didn't
isn't
hear
it?
Jackass. Didn't hear.
Oh, no. Oh, damn. Hang on. Well, this is unfortunate.
Yeah, but this can go into the clip show.
All right. Well, okay.
Would you like to summarize?
No, I'll just edit it in and you guys won't hear it.
Oh, that's fun.
Well. Despite what the Florida Tourism Board has been feeding all of you ignorant people, it is I, every female's top tourist destination, and the man whose crotch is truly the happiest place on earth. The man who makes Minnie Mouse's panties wet. And the man who just last night helped Daisy Duck fulfill her dream as she took one for the team. And I made her squeal and scream as I filled her full of cream. It is I, the bacon in her eggs, the man for whom she begs, and the face between her legs. The quintessential and original stud muffin, and a good Lord have mercy, goddamn handsome man, Joel. I shoot out a full condom filler, and it tastes like vanilla. Gertner.
Yeah, I know, but
I was hoping to hear 8 or 9 dick jokes before we stopped this episode, but hey,
should I
that's
repeat?
fine.
Should I just repeat it to you?
You should.
Yeah.
Would that be
Give
fun?
us a summary. Whose
Well,
mom
he
did he
talks
sleep
about-
with?
He talks about fucking Daisy Duck.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're in Orlando and he does like a whole thing. I don't know, dude.
Oh, so he went bestiality. We're near Disney World. Let's go bestiality.
Exactly right.
That's
right,
fucking
yeah.
genius, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, you guys just heard it. Scott and Adam couldn't hear it, so that's why I'm summarizing it for them. So I don't know what's going on here. That's weird. Yeah, so he ends up talking about he fucked Daisy Duck.
Awesome.
This guy got in a wrestling ring on pay-per-view and talked about fucking a cartoon duck.
I don't know how he was a heel.
He really wasn't. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
Like, he barely, people loved him.
Yeah, the original People's Champion.
Yeah. So for promos like that, he had to make it into the show.
Love Joe Gertner. I almost
couldn't
put him
leave him
on
out.
my list, dude, and I was like, you know what? I can almost guarantee Eddie's going to have him.
Yep. You can count on me.
I really can.
So anyway, damn, I wish you could have heard it. I have no idea what's going on, but it is what it is. Well, whatever.
No, I'll
Yeah,
have to
you're
listen
right.
to the episode to find out what he said.
Yeah, this will go on the clip show,
Yep.
and that's it.
Actually, well, really quick, I want to throw just some honorable mentions. Not honorable because of like
Hey, really
you
quick,
didn't
Adam,
know,
let me
but-
interrupt you. Hold on. Tell me if you can hear this. No, you probably can't, huh? All right. Okay, forget it. Go ahead.
All right,
Honorable
well,
mentions.
Anyways, I mean, maybe they weren't included, but it's probably because you knew Colt Cabana and MJF.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman, he's a Hanukkah guy. I want to say, like, was he maybe the first WWF or WWE T-shirt that was something Hanukkah or something Jewish related?
Yeah, because I can't think of any other ones.
Oh wait,
I don't remember
maybe
what you're
aside
talking
from
about.
the Ice Star Colt shirt.
Well, it would be whichever was first. No, but I mean, Colt Cabana didn't do that in WWE, but yeah, whichever of those two was first.
Okay, or at least just two that really stood out among so many opportunities, but never taken by a Jewish wrestler or so. Or just two
Got
of
it.
its kind, something like that. Cool. I just also want to I want to mention a quick name here. This is a wrestler, I want to say, looks like from the 50s. It's just interesting to point out. Guy named Raphael Halperin, born in Vienna. He used to work with Vince McMahon Sr. at Capitol Wrestling. He was Mr. Israel and the Wrestling Rabbi.
Oh, that's a great gimmick.
The Wrestling Rabbi.
I was trying to think like what other kinds of names would there be, but I also remember there was that one show or movie with Adam Goldberg. He's the Hebrew Hammer, but I don't know. But still, this guy pulling this shit off in the 50s or so, 50s and 60s, awesome. After retirement, he became a businessman and would later become a practicing rabbi. Still being involved with both, and maybe still having his hands in the wrestling business. He wanted to create a credit card that was exclusive to his affiliated wrestling promotions, but wanted to have a chip input where you cannot use it on Saturday, or in other words, you cannot use it on the Sabbath.
On the Sabbath. That's brilliant. Well, that's a guy who was way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Who would even think of that back then? You know what? That's interesting that you said that was his gimmick, the wrestling rabbi. I'm surprised there weren't more gimmicks like that, actually, especially in New York, because like Vince Sr. especially was way into the ethnic baby faces in particular.
Yep.
Like he had a lot of that, and it was because, so it'd be like, you make Pedro Morales your top guy because there are a lot of Puerto Ricans in New York. Putski was a big one. Obviously Bruno. There was a lot of that, and a big part of why he was big on that is you had all these foreign language newspapers in the area, and they would write stories. So the Polish newspaper would write an article about Putski. The American, English language newspapers didn't want to have anything to do with wrestling because, Vince broke kayfabe in 97 or whatever it was. But really, plenty of people had done it before. They'd done these exposés all the way back to the 30s. So the main media didn't really want to touch anything to do with wrestling because they thought it was stupid and fake. But those other newspapers would write about that. So that would get them publicity they wouldn't otherwise get. So I'm kind of surprised that they didn't lean into that, have more Jewish wrestlers in areas where that would, make sense.
Or all the shit that Vince McMahon Jr. was throwing against the wall in the mid-90s. Like the smoking guns, like the Wrestling Rabbi would have fit right in. Friar Ferguson and the Wrestling Rabbi. Hey.
What a tag team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the next match, you get a race car driver.
Right.
Versus a fucking clown.
Yeah.
Wrestling Rabbi would have fit right in 95, dude.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he never came up with that. You're right. That's really interesting and never crossed my mind till right now when Adam said that.
What are you doing wrestling on a Friday?
Yeah, right. Yeah. That would have been the first time he had a wrestler with the first name Kerwin.
All
right. I think that about wraps it up.
That takes care of our service of wrestlers you didn't know were Jewish. What'd you think of this list? And do we educate you? And from this education, how did you grow as a person? Please let us know on the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, wrestling_drunk. Please tell your family, friends, heels, and faces to like, share, and subscribe to our show. Please leave us reviews so that we could keep this drunk wrestling adventure going. So, on behalf of Eddie and Scott, I'm Adam, reminding all of you to enjoy your buzz, watch wrestling responsibly, drink like nobody's watching, and we will see you next Friday, as we normally do here on this podcast. Ichad, Shtaim, Shalosh, Shabbat Shalom.
Oy vey.
Oy vey.
That's all I know. I know Meshuggah once.
Friday night we'll be drinking Manischewitz, going out to terrorize Goyam. Stomping shakers, screwing chicks as long as we're home by Saturday morning. 'Cause hey, we're the Bruce. Sporting and dice, wash the cat tattoos. We're the boys. The Orthodox Hasidic OGOs. sugar-nuts. You can't lose the fight. And we are the chosen ones. Hood for driven. We battle, then we feast. We celebrate. We'll separate our milk plates from our meat. We're the roots. Sport and anti-swastika tattoos. We're the boys. Orthodox Hasidic OGOs.
Come on, you schmuck.